Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the tangle Tuftid from CZT Carole Ohl. And the name just makes me smile. All right. Um, this one, it's not necessary. It's not really a grid pattern. Oh, it could fit into whatever space you want. So let's do this. 4 corners, corner dot, 4 corners, 4 corner dots, slow down Heather, and then a frame, 2 of the 8-step Zentangle method. All right. All right, so in the center of whatever you want to do, we're going to just put, however you want to look at it, a cross, a plus sign, up to you. And length, up to you. Does it have to be even? Nope. All right. Then, and I say it doesn't have to be a grid because the way I'm looking at it in Carole's step out, and I mimicked hers. It's in a box because that's the shape of the step out. And then and this is in the For More Inspiration link in the description section. And take a look because she has some samples where you can have more than one. So I'm going to do essentially what we would call a monotangle, but you could have more than one of them, but not even necessarily like in a grid format, although you could. It's up to you. But do take a look because you'll get some good ideas. All right. And pick a spoke to start with. And I'm going to start here. And this is just a series of straight lines. So I'm coming from here and I'm going out. Now, one thing that Carole did this was just in her step out, because when I'm looking at her samples, the beginning part, it looks like it is just one pen stroke width. But in the step out, she made it thick. And you know what? You could make it thick if you want to. I'm going to guess that maybe the reason for that was so you could see where these lines are coming off of. And because, this is one pen stroke, it can kind of, that tip can travel. But that's okay. So we're just doing straight lines coming from the same, or at least close to it, location, and you're going to go just like about that. You can play with this. And then I'm going to turn my tile and I'll do the same thing over to this side. So it's kind of like we're going to fill the top space. We're going to work down that space, as you can see, making sure you can see. All right, I tilted my camera so that way I wouldn't have any more accidental, oh, you're just seeing my fat thumb. And it's one of those, it's like, I don't think I've moved it, but, who knows? Sometimes I bump it and you never know. So you can have it come down just as far as you want. It doesn't have to be symmetrical or anything. It's just, however far you want it to go down. Then, flip side, same thing. And so I'm just kind of making a mental note. And actually, it doesn't matter if you make a mental note or not. And I'm looking like, wow, if I really wanted to make that line extended like that, I wouldn't, it wouldn't turn out this good. Usually I end up with a bump somewhere. But, you would just start wherever you want that to end. And then again, same idea, same point, working your way down the line of whatever space. Not okay, and I'm going to do something very daring here. Okay, a lot of times if I leave too big of a gap and I go back and, oh yeah, I can fit another line in there, and I should, because it looks really weird just having that one gap. And usually it doesn't turn out so hot. But hey, this time I try not to think about it too much. So what's neat about this, is where all of the lines are converging here on the end of this spoke. And that always has a neat effect in my mind. And like I said, you can go, in as far as you want this way. Guess what? How do we do on these? Same thing. except, except we're going to essentially work behind these. So there's my first line. And I like working both sides because I do like to see, when I can, to see the line that I'm essentially auraing. Versus, if I was doing it the other way, the pen is kind of in the way. But so here, it's like I'm taking it as far out, and I'm pretending I'm going all the way to the end. I'm just stopping when I come to a line, and I'm not going to cross over it. And I'm going to just leave that way. Oops, turn it the other way. And then, depending on the kind of shape you want, although I do like that. When I was playing with it, I ended up, it was a lot bigger. So I just ended up taking this line just down, adding a couple lines there just to get, because like they would end up like this. I'm like, no, I don't like that at all. So it's just like, you just keep going until you get it to, a shape that you want. Okay. And guess what? On this side, same thing. These are the greatest tangles because you don't have to think. You don't have to go and look back at the instructions. You just do. And that is just the best thing, especially if you want to use this as a meditative tool on purpose. I always like to say it's the meditation part is just a side effect, because you can just tangle. Actually, even tangling and teaching. And I would still get the benefits, even if I was standing up teaching live. I remember when I was first doing this, 3-hour class or whatnot. And I was like, nope, not yet. Have a nice, great night's sleep. And it wasn't just because I was exhausted. There's that relaxing, bit that's just so cool. And there we go. Except for some shading. All right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put graphite just where the lines start and where these tuck underneath these. So I'm putting the graphite on this side. So basically along the straight line, like that, which is really nice because if, for whatever reason, if you end up with, as I end up with, ones like I don't make it quite to the end, and then sometimes it's a little dangerous when you go to, let me just put a little dot there and it'll fill that in. And sometimes it's like, I just shouldn't have. Shading covers a lot of that up, so that's always nice. Look at that. I like taking a minute, especially this where you have one side shaded and one side not. Let me put it this way maybe. And it's just so cool to see the effect when you can see this side not, this side yes. And it's just, I don't know. I like to do that. And it's also nice to take a minute here and there and just celebrate what you've done. And just stop, take a look, take a breath. I don't think we do that enough. And especially in the Zentangle method, we need to do this is for us. It's not, as my friend Diane says, well, she'll say, well, I'm not taking it to the fair. And it's like, no, that's not, and she knows it's not the objective to take it to the fair. But it's just, it's just to have fun, just for you. And that's what's awesome. Yeah, like it. Now, well, I was thinking I would maybe bring this in this way, but I think I'm going to bring this out to the outside. On my step out, I brought it, I shaded it to the inside. And you can go either way. It just has a different effect. And I don't always do this when in regular, Zentangle method tangling. I don't always do this. Just sometimes if it's just, the tile will speak to you. Your tangles will tell you what it wants you to do. And it's true. Oh, but isn't that neat? It's just cool. And so, using it as a neat filler for one space like this, or like I mentioned, take a look at the For More Inspiration link. And actually, on hers, she left, let's see. Yeah, she did some of them where they were kind of full like this, and then some where it's not like maybe stopping here and then having them meet, end to end. It's just really, really neat. You have to look at it. All right. Like I said, cool tangle. So lots of options. And I don't know, I just think it looks neat. All right. If you enjoyed this, and I hope you did, would love to have you click like. Feel free to share it, leave comments, and if you liked it enough to see more, I'd love to have you be a subscriber to the channel. I mentioned the description section for step outs. I always do my own version and then link to the originator of the tangle. Those are the first two. And then below that, a link to my website. So if you'd like to connect with me, that would be awesome. I teach classes. You'll see those listed. I do a daily tangle, but starting, I guess it was kind of started with Inktober. I started actually putting them out on my blog, the Daily Tangle. And Inktober, I was following, as is it 547 River something? I forget. I'm picturing it in my head, but it's not coming out my mouth. But anyway, I was following somebody else's list, and because it's they do such a nice job at it, and you know who I'm talking about, Debbie New and Stephanie Jennifer, CZTs, and they do such a wonderful job. So it would not compete with them. We do those, and then sometimes I do an extra daily tangle. But anyway, so since then everybody had so much fun, it's like, well, we want to continue. So I did Inkvember, and then Festivus Tanglus for December. That one I tried to theme more to festive tangles, and then now in January we're doing HNY tangles, Happy New Year tangles, and not necessarily thematic, but because that's really hard to do, especially because I'm trying to do a different tangle myself. That's my goal every day, and share it. So anyway, would love to have you subscribe to my blog, and you'll get those. But you can see the lists there, as well as just the daily tangle in general. This would be day 710. I always publish them the evening before, so that way, depending on what time zone you're in, you'll have it for that, whole next day to play with. And let's see, mentioned classes. So if you want to take classes, they're there. A lot of them are free. I do have a couple that are paid. I also have a membership club, so if you are interested, take a look at that. And below that, if you happen to be on Facebook and want to hang out with a bunch of Tangle addicts, we would love to have you join our private Facebook group. I will tell you there are a couple of required questions. I think there are 4 in total, but 2 of them are required. And so you have to do those in order to pass that gate. And again, we figured we can't have too many friends that tangle, so it's just a lot of fun. And again, would love to have you join us. So with that, thanks so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.